Hey, love. Welcome to the Heart Sideway, the faith based spiritual personal growth podcast that will invite and ignite you to think and move from your heart, not just go inward, but to find yourself in the everyday. Cast away everything you've been taught that is outside of you. Here we talk about life from a different side so you can start to confidently identify, choose, and move from your heart side, this wellspring of divine life and direction. These conversations are guaranteed to be relevant, real, and inspiring. The heart knows the way before the mind ever does, according to Psalm 27, verse 8. Let this be a true connection point to open your sight to feel the truth of your life before it can be explained. Thank you for joining me. You know, I've been on the spiritual journey for several years now. Started through tragedy and continues to go on in gratitude fully of that tragedy and everything that's unfolded ever since. And I think that initially, when I was introduced to something else than I was used to the science and the status quo of life, I was mesmerized and tantalized by this idea that there is something more. And I feel like throughout my entire life, I have been asking and actively chasing, something more, but none of it ever felt full. I never felt full chasing anything that was brought into my world, was brought into my consciousness that I then thought, okay, it was time to chase. And over the last several years that I've been expanding my capacity for spirituality and expanding, how I choose to move in the world through things like movement and sound and channeling and kind of these woo-hoo alternative ideas. And all of the things felt like home, but it felt empty, like an empty home, like something you're coming back to, a remembrance of something, and there was always just a missing piece. And so I went on a walk the other day because I have been stewing in this idea of I want to get back to work. I want to create this impact that I know I'm here to create. And I had given it all up. I had burned every bridge. I had burned every idea, every relationship that was based on the journey that I had taken into spirituality and stewed in it and released it and was in a deep, deep depression about not being allowed to work, feeling like the universe wasn't allowing me to work and to do this work that I know is needed, that I know I'm good at. And with the return of my husband, back into our lives after working away for almost 2 years, I had this renewed desire to let him rest and to be able to provide. And so my questioning and my movement in the world has been different in the last couple of weeks. And so as I went for my walk and I used that time to meditate on, what is this missing piece? What are we missing? I had very profound interaction. And I think that my questions all really related to why all of the creations, why all of the ideas that had been sent to me through channels, through consciousness, through the universe, through my angels and guides, why they never landed, why I never seemed to be successful, and why I was told to create all of these beautiful, wonderful things and nobody was signing up. And I wasn't being rewarded for following the breadcrumbs, for following my intuition, for finding the locations for the retreats that were perfect and the people who, were excellent cheerleaders for everything that I was doing, why was I told to create all of this? And now I'm here, lost and lonely and poor. And as I sat looking at the ocean with my headphones on, this is what I heard. And I think I really just want you to listen to it before I explain. So what I heard as I sat there looking at the ocean was that God is missing. He said, in all of the ways that you serve in your calling for oneness and greatness, God is missing, and your abundance is stunted. God is missing, and his kingdom remains hidden. God is missing, and your impact remains but a trickle. In all the spiritual ways that we choose to connect ourselves into wholeness, we are ignoring God. We are fearing his integration into our blessings. We are shushing his voice by calling it spirit, universe, angels, or guides. And we are poor because God is missing. And I sat with it for a while and I asked more questions, and a lot of it came from me looking into every beautiful person that I've been introduced to in the last several years who are on this same journey, who are searching for more and searching to be better humans and searching to be successful at that and make an impact, and all of them all falling short. All of us that I have been introduced to and that I dearly, dearly hold to my heart are struggling or surviving barely, and it is painful. And when I reflected back to conversations that I had with these beautiful humans, I do feel that there was never a conversation about God. God was never brought up. And in some of the conversations that I had, I very much felt like I was channeling exactly what people needed in the moment. And God would come up and there would be this instantaneous yet teeny tiny fraction of a second tension around that word. And I learned to just ignore it because I don't know how people integrate this greater force into their world. And so I know for a fact that everything that comes out of my mouth is channeled perfectly for that moment, for that person, in order to create more or create a remembrance. And so when I received this message from God, I knew it was from God, and there was no question. There was no question that everything that I had been calling my creator had been less than. And this contemplation that I had, that like we hear God when it comes to our calling. We get messages, intuitions, pings, ideas, like where heart is led to somewhere for some reason, and it feels pure and it feels exciting and it feels like meant to be in the way that calling and purpose should be. But we don't call it God, and I don't know if this is a recent trend in spirituality to eliminate God, because I actually have never known God. I haven't known him. I didn't grow up with him. We never went to church except for maybe at Christmas with grandma. When my mom married into a Catholic marriage, she was the black sheep, and we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about God or prayer or church, and we were invited, and it was like, no, thanks. And there was never really space, or that it was brought into my space. Two of my best friends in high school were even very religious people with their families. And as my best friends, we actually never really talked about it. And so even though he was in my life, it never really was a conversation. More than anything, it was ignored. And now that I am in this space of listening, I've never really known what I was listening to. I've been told it was higher self or spirit or your angels or your guides or even the universe. And all of that felt really, really limited, really, really limiting. And so this idea that we're creating all of this and we're missing God in it and neglecting to include him in it is why our ideals fall flat, why our projects flop, why our faith in ourselves wavers, because we shush him. We let stigma reign. We hold religious trauma and many other reasons for calling him by any other name and praying to everything below him. And so, yeah, in that moment, it made sense that the reason that all of these creations that I had been sent the message to create had never landed, had all failed. Like not one sign up, not one customer, not one shirt sold. Like there was a big, big block. And in the contemplation of that, the reason that all of this didn't land is that he was missing, is that like our abundance is in welcoming him into these divine creations. You know, he's missing in our hearts. And so when he gives us a task, when he gives us a mission, when he tells us to create something through us, and we don't even include him in it, how is it supposed to be accessible? How is the frequency, the energy of those creations supposed to reach the people that it's supposed to reach? How are we supposed to rise in the divinity of the things that flow through us if we're missing the source? If we're missing the source from our hearts, if we're missing the creator of the mission in order to fulfill it. I mean, the success of them, and therefore our success is like widely misaligned by just that tiny piece that God is missing. That we are showing gratitude to the universe instead of the infinite, instead of everything beyond it. And stopping at the glass ceiling every single time we follow the breadcrumbs and do the thing and feel the calling and put our feet one foot in front of the other. We are missing him. We are missing the biggest piece of the greatness of it. We are missing the final piece of made manifest. God. And so if you're on the spiritual journey that, you know, I am still on, if you're on the spiritual journey of more, of better, of righteousness, of impact, you have something to say and to something to share to the world that's going to change it. I know you do. We all do. And you're forgetting to pray to God and ask him instead of this glass ceiling of the universe. The blessings are waiting for you there. The blessings are waiting for you in God, not in a church, not in religion, but in this conversation and allowing of God into your world, into your business, into your creations, into your family, into your life, into your marriage, into everything that he's telling you to do. So when you stop ignoring him and allowing for him to be present in all of it, the possibilities are infinite. They're endless, like he is. I'm just learning this now, and I am playing with how God fits into everything that I know and everything that I've been called to do. And so I welcome you. I welcome you to contemplate where God is missing in your world and where he is. How you can invite him into more. How you can give it all to God. Give all of your gifts, all of your creations, all of your life to him, so that he can give it all back multiplied. God will be the multiplier of my life. God is it. And so I welcome you to contemplate all of that, to contemplate him, to contemplate who you are praying for, how you are using your words to create, and with whom, with what. Because your blessings are waiting. I know you can feel it. I've been feeling it all along, with every book title, with every retreat space, with every women's circle, with every channeling session. I knew my blessings were waiting. And there was this one piece missing. I could feel it. Always. And if you're feeling the same way, if you're feeling that missing piece, contemplate, is God missing? Is that what's missing? Him here to blow up what he's put in my hands, to create the impact, to send it out with God in fullness, as whole instead of 98%. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful to you for listening to this episode of the Heart Sideway podcast. Be sure to follow the Heart Sideway podcast with me, Donna Mills, because all episodes come as they are meant to come. So stay tuned in, because the heart knows the way before the mind ever does.